What's happening, Crusaders? Super excited to be here. It has been a hot minute. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy official start to summer. For those of you that are in the US, as you guys are coming in, say hey, let me know where it is you're coming in from. I just got back from DC, and so I missed you guys last week. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm really excited today's topic to talk to you about all things recruiting, the best way to bring in business builders. I know that that is the hardest part in this network marketing space. Sometimes it's really easy to get sales, but sometimes it's really hard for people to build a team. And as you guys are coming in, drop a 1 in the comments if you find prospecting or bringing in business builders, if you find it to be challenging, drop a 1 in the comments. Let me know if this is something that you struggle with. And as you guys are getting this, do me a massive favor and share this out to people on your team so that they can get the tips and the strategies that I'm going to share with you, because there's many different ways to prospect. There's many different ways to build a team, but the most important thing to do is to actually take action. And so what happens a lot of times is that people are not taking action in their business. And so if you're not taking action, it doesn't matter which way you're going to prospect. So come in, say hey, let me know that you guys can hear me. I don't know if I'm having audio issues. I'm hoping that I'm not. But if you guys can hear me, let me know that you can hear me properly. I'm excited. I'm going to talk to you about different ways to prospect and what I have personally found that works best for me. Hey, Facebook user, how are you? Zira, how are you? If somebody's saying I can hear you, awesome. Okay, I want to know, before I get started, how many people do you have on your team? Let me know in the comments. Put a number down below. Let me know. And again, guys, please make sure that you're sharing this out so that people can get the different ways and the different ways to prospect. Because I'm actually going to share something brand new that I just learned today, and I haven't tested it. It's untested, right? This is totally untested, but I want to share it with you guys anyway. So there's different ways to prospect, right? There's prospecting on social media, which is literally how I have been able to sign up hundreds and hundreds of people in my business. And we're going to talk about that. Then there's prospecting the old school method, which is the belly to belly, reaching out to people that you know through, your network of people. That way it works too. We're going to dive into that. And then there's cold messaging as well. So we're going to dive a little bit into cold messaging. And then what I want to do is I want to share with you at the very end this new strategy that I just found out about. Maybe you guys have heard about it. I'm not sure if you have, but I'm going to dive into that as well. And so I'm excited to give you guys as much value as I possibly can so that you guys can figure out which way works best for you to do your reach outs. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is that you're actually doing those reach outs, right? So, and finally, how I do it, which is through YouTube predominantly, right? I really build most of my team through my YouTube. And so I'm going to dive into all of these ways today. And then I want you guys to ask me any questions that you have. Make sure that you're engaging in this. Send me some love. I see people, Zyra, saying that you can hear me. Perfect. Awesome. Hi, Facebook user. All right. So the old school way, right? Probably doesn't need a whole lot of talking about. The old school way is reaching out to people that you meet on when you're out and about, right? Whether you're in an Uber, whether you're getting a coffee, whether you're with a waitress or people that you know, right? And asking that. Does it work? It absolutely works. 100%. People have built multiple 7-figure businesses that, through this old school, so to speak, way of working. Zyra says, I want to work with you. How can I connect with you? My links on my social media on YouTube, you can find them in any of my YouTube videos. So definitely make sure you send me a message on my Facebook. You'll find it over on my YouTube. So that's the old school way of building. Okay, that's the old school way of building, and it absolutely works. For me, it didn't work. And here's why. I felt like I was always had an agenda. Like I would be out to dinner with my family and I'd love the waitress. And then I felt like I had to pop the question. And for me, that just didn't feel authentic to me. And it felt really weird for me to be able to do that. And so I didn't want to do it that way any longer. And I was like, okay, I've got to figure out this online social media marketing, because for me, then I know that like I'm setting myself up. I have a time to meet people. I have a time to do my reach outs, and then I can cut it off and I can be, the mom that I want to be or the wife that I want to be when I'm out and about, and not feel like I need to prospect people. All right. So that didn't work for me. Now, the other way to do it is obviously through social media, right? Which is how I've built a large part of my recruiting, right? Is through social media. So here's the different schools of thoughts when it comes to building on social media. There is the idea that you can meet people in Facebook groups, or you can then go and like find people that you like, influencers or famous people that you like, and then start to see who's commenting on their stuff, because like attracts like. And you can send what we call a cold message. And a cold message is when you don't build that like, know, and trust factor, but you send them a message and say, hey, I see that you really like Brene Brown like I do. I'm not sure if you're at all open to taking a look at other business opportunities if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing. And if so, let me know, right? What is the bonus of that, guys? And did you hear my language? Like it wasn't spammy. And I always end it with, and if not, no big deal. Like I always give them like the out so that they don't feel like I'm spamming it. So again, that language is, I'm not sure if you're open to taking a look at business opportunities if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. And if not, no big deal, right? How does that work? It works that you're going to get blocked. It works that you're going to get ghosted. It works that people are going to say, hey, yes, I'm open, right? But the beauty of this message is that you're not building that like, know, and trust factor. And so when you're not building that like, know, and trust factor, you can send out a ton of those messages, right? You can send them out like all the time, as long as you don't end up in like Facebook or Instagram jail or wherever, right? You can do that like all day long, rinse and repeat. Guys, is this making sense? Drop a 2 in the comments if this is making sense to you, if you guys are understanding that form of prospecting, right? You can send out probably 20, 30 messages a day just like that with people that you've met in Facebook groups, people that you've met, like I said, if you go on people's business pages of like Oprah Winfrey, Brene Brown, like whoever it may be that lights you up, right? You can go and find their audience, because again, like attracts like. But you're going to get ghosted because you're not building that like, know, and trust factor, which is so, so, so important when it comes to building your business, right? So you can send out mass amount of messages, which is fantastic, but know that your closing rate is going to be probably pretty small. Right? The other way to build on social media, which personally for me is how I've been building for many, many years now, is I developed the like, know, and trust factor, showing up here on social media, building my brand, building my influence, right? And having conversations with people and building that like, know, and trust. And when you build that like, know, and trust, then you pop the question and say, again, I'm not sure if you're interested in what I'm doing. If you are, I would love to run with you. I think you're amazing because of X, Y, and Z, with a genuine compliment to them. And if not, no big deal, right? So that is going to have a higher close rate, because now it's what we call a warm audience. It's people that you know, right? And it's people that like, know, and trust you because you've built this brand. They've watched you, you've carried on conversations before. And so when you do that, it's a higher close rate, but the downside is you're not going to be asking as many people probably a day if they're open to taking a look at your opportunity, because you don't have all that time in the world to like be carrying on these conversations, right? So I always call it the $1 million messenger, because that is literally how you build your business, in Messenger, through the like, know, and trust factor. Right? So for me, that feels authentic. But you also have to realize I'm a very extroverted person. I am somebody that can carry on a conversation for a long time. And my family likes to joke that I could talk to the wall. right? So like I could carry on, no joke, like a conversation with the wall and it would be fine. If you're more of an introverted person, if you don't like to make small talk chit chat with people, then option number one on social media, like I talked about, like sending those cold messages to people that you find in social media is probably your best bet, right? It realistically is your best bet. Now, the other way that I have been able to build my business is through YouTube. And every week I put out a YouTube video and I put out massive amount of value on my YouTube, but I also put out value about my company, my opportunity, my products. And so what happens is people are doing some research, they find me, they message me over on Facebook, kind of like what Zyra was just saying. He's like, I want to work with you. Great, send me a message over on Facebook because you're on my YouTube, right? So there's no social media like chat feature on YouTube. So I always send people to my social media. And that is personally how I've been able to recruit hundreds and hundreds of people is because of my YouTube video. Now, what I love about the YouTube strategy is that it's people that are already researching my company. It's people that are ready to buy or ready to join because they're already in the research phase, right? It's intent marketing. I'm showing up when they're intentionally looking for something versus interruption marketing, which is what we do in the messenger, which is like, hey, are you open to taking a look, right? So if you haven't checked out my YouTube masterclass, just put masterclass in the comments. We'll make sure my assistant or I will make sure that we send you the link to the masterclass so you can check out the YouTube strategy that I personally use to build my business to the top. But then the last way that I have just found out today to build, and I haven't tried it, I haven't tested it, I'm just sharing it with you, is there are people that are actually collecting leads for people that are looking for home-based businesses, and you can buy those leads. It's called solo ads. So if you Google solo ads, you'll be able to find out. Like I went down the rabbit hole last night and I was like, what is this? And then I like started like digging and researching and I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. So I'm gonna experiment it with my team personally, but basically there's people that are collecting leads for people that are looking for home-based businesses, that are looking for a side gig, that are looking for an extra income, and you can buy those leads and then you can then go and call them. Now, again, I have no idea if this works. I have no idea if it converts well, right? But you can buy the leads and then make the message and then make the calls. Now, in theory, this is fantastic because it's people that have raised their hand to an ad of some sort that says, I'm interested in learning about a home-based business. And when that happens, then they're more intentionally searching for something, kind of like YouTube, right? It's more of intent marketing. So then you can get on the phone, jump on a call, jump on a Zoom, whatever it may be, send up a Calendly link, however you want to do it, and see if it converts for you. All right, so the question that I have for you guys is which marketing technique which marketing technique feels best for you? Which one feels authentic? Because here's the reality. You can do all of these things, but if it makes you cringe, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, like in a bad way, you're not going to do it. And so like for me with the going out and meeting people and feeling like I had an agenda, that didn't feel right for me. I knew I could not build my network marketing business this way because I wanted to be out and focus on my family. I didn't want to have to worry about building a relationship with my waitress, with my this person, with my that person. It didn't feel authentic. And so I knew that if I was going to stay in network marketing, this was many years ago, if I was going to stay in network marketing, I couldn't build this way because it wasn't authentic to me and I didn't like it. It made me cringe personally. Now, some people love it and that's fantastic. Then you dial in and that's what you do, right? Like 100% that's what you do. So do you like to build on social or do you like to build on person? If you like to build on social, put a 3 in the comments. And if you like to build in person, drop a 4. All right. And Again, there's no right, there's no wrong. Hey, Alicia, how are you? There's no right, there's no wrong way to build. The only thing that you can do that's wrong is that you cannot do anything. That's not going to be successful because you're too paralyzed with your fear, right? So, what I will say is with each practice, it's like going to the gym and working your muscle. You get better and better each time you do it. Your closing rate is going to go up significantly more the longer you've been in the game, the longer you plug into um, trainings like this, the longer you practice, you're going to get better. So in the beginning, if you're brand new to network marketing or social media marketing, your close rate's probably going to be pretty bad. Maybe you have to ask 100 people to close 1 or 2 people, like a 1 to 2%. But as you get better and you learn things to say and you have posture and you learn to tell stories and how to market yourself better, you are going to have a much more successful closure rate. But just know it's like a muscle. It's going to take time. It's like learning a new language. It doesn't come easy, especially if you've never done this before. But the only way to not be successful in network marketing is to quit before you have success, right? You can't get fired over here. You can, you can company hop. I don't necessarily recommend it, but you can company hop, but you can't get fired. The only thing you can do is give up, right? And so it's about getting fascinated with the process of prospecting, meeting people, being more authoritative and being looked at as a influence in your space, right? And that takes time and that takes practice and that makes building a brand. But you can't get fired. So know that you can't fail at this. All right. And so Alicia's saying, I like to do both, but I feel like I suck on social. Well, then that means, Alicia, that you have a choice. You can either say, I'm going to give up on social and I'm just going to build in person, which is totally fine. Or you can say, okay, you know what? Social media is really, really challenging for me, but I'm committed to getting better and showing up and learning what it takes so that I can build my business on social media. When I started in this industry 9 years ago, I had like 200 friends on Facebook. I had zero influence whatsoever. They were all people that I went to high school with. It wasn't like I just showed up on video and got better. It wasn't that I could just like pop in and do a live and be like, oh my gosh. No, it took time. It took energy. It took flexing my muscle to understand how to build a social media brand and how to show up on social authentically like me. Okay. So, I am not, I did not start as an expert. In fact, I don't even know if I consider myself an expert, even though I'm a top earner. So we're always learning. We're always trying to do better and get better at this game called network marketing. But what they say is it's professional development with a paycheck. The more you pour into yourself, the more money you're going to make. So you've got to work on your mindset and you've got to work on your marketing skills. And that is the way to build authenticity, to build a brand, to prospect with posture in this space takes time and takes learning. And so, guys, I hope that this has been helpful. If this has been helpful for you, drop value in the comments. Let me know. Again, please do me a massive favor. Share this out to your team. Let them know that they have different ways to prospect because sometimes they're only taught one way and that one way doesn't feel authentic to them. And when it doesn't feel authentic to them, what happens is they give up, right? And so it's important for people to realize and know that there's different ways to prospect and there's different ways to do your reach outs. And what you have to do is you have to find the right way that works for you, that feels authentic to you so that you don't feel uncomfortable doing this over and over and over again. Now, I will say getting uncomfortable is an important part of being successful in network marketing, right? But if it like literally makes you cringe, you are not going to do it. But there's a way to find what fits right for you. Just like for me, when I was started in this space 9 years ago, I knew I could not be doing the prospecting belly to belly. It just was not working for me. It didn't feel authentic. So I was like, okay, I've got to find another way to build. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I flexed my social media muscle. I'm so glad that I learned YouTube. All of those things have helped me make my business super duper successful. So I'm glad that you got value. I will see you again, guys, next week. If you've got any questions, definitely make sure you send me a message. I respond back to all of my messages, or I try to at least. And I hope that you guys have an amazing week. Love you. I believe in you.